So what do you say we spend a little time in the garden today? All right, all right, all right. It's getting pretty chilly here. Now, I know you folks up north may make fun of me a little bit for this, but 30 degrees is pretty cold for a southern boy like myself. And we're supposed to get our first freezing temperatures of the fall/winter tonight here on the last day of November, which means I've got a lot to do. Wasn't really expecting this frost to come this early. Kind of snuck up on me a little bit, even though this is right around the time where our average first frost date falls. But I've got some corn here behind me, a little patch of sweet corn back there. I'm not quite sure if every single ear is ready to be harvested, but we got to get it up before this freeze comes along. We certainly don't want it to ruin out there. So we need to get that corn picked, get it gathered, and just kind of see how our fall sweet corn turned out for us. So right here we've got just a small little patch of sweet corn. We've got 1, 2, 4 rows in there that are about 30 foot long or so. We planted this back in, I think it was early to mid-September. Have to go back and check the published date on the video when we planted this, or around early to mid-September. So if we count back, here we are in November. We're looking at probably 75, 80 days or so since we planted this, which is pretty, accurate maturity date for this particular variety here. We planted a variety called Primus, which is a bicolor triple sweet corn variety, and those triple sweets tend to have a little earlier maturity date than some of your old standard varieties like your Silver Queen or something like that. Now, we grow a good bit of sweet corn in the spring and early summer, but we always like to plant even just a little patch for fall because it's nice to have some fresh sweet corn this time of year. Sometimes the fall sweet corn doesn't always do as great as the spring and summer sweet corn because we don't know what the weather's going to do this time of year. It's not as predictable as it is, spring going into summer, but we can usually get us a decent little harvest from it. And if you live in an area where you have a later first frost date, I'd always encourage you to try fall sweet corn. Now, like I said, we grew a good bit of it in the spring and the summer, and we put up a bunch of it in the freezer. We grew Avalon first, and then the second planting we did was a quad sweet variety called Temptress. Both of those did well for us. Got a bunch of that in the freezer. So we didn't want to grow another big plot to put more in the freezer because we've got plenty that'll last us, throughout the winter and until we get more sweet corn next spring and summer. We just wanted to grow a little patch here just to have some to eat fresh off the cob there, share with family and friends. Now, as we go to look at this plot here, y'all just ignore these weeds that you see down at the bottom there. I've been gone for almost the last week up in the mountains for Thanksgiving, and so this plot has been neglected a little bit. I didn't weed it the week before that, and so it hasn't been cultivated or weeded in several weeks. So you'll see a little bit of weed pressure in there. No big deal. We'll mow it all down here pretty quickly and probably put a tarp on it and take care of those. Last night we got a pretty epic little windstorm coming through here, and you can probably still hear some of that wind on the microphone. Blew all my patio furniture off my porch, and when I saw that this morning I said, oh no, I bet that corn's blowed down. But I came out here and thankfully it's all still standing. Healing up those plants really helped to kind of protect it during that windstorm. So no corn was damaged last night, and I think we're going to have several ears to get. Let's see what we got. Now, if you watch that video when we planted this and the video we did after that, you'll remember that right after we planted this, Hurricane Sally came in here, dumped a bunch of rain on us, and so our spacing here is a little off because we got all that rain from Sally. It affected our germination a little bit, but not too bad. Ended up with pretty decent spacing along there, just a few random gaps here and there. The plants ended up getting about 6 or 7 foot tall. In some spots, a good nice height on them. We were able to keep them watered well with that drip irrigation, keep the fertilizer pumped to them. Now these plants are not the best looking corn plants I've ever had. You can see there a lot of brown, kind of rust looking stuff on those leaves, and I don't really know what caused that, but I've got an idea. I've been pretty diligent about coming in here and spraying spinosad to make sure I didn't have any worms in this corn, and I think I may have just overdid a little bit and burnt those leaves. But I think the ears are going to be just fine, and hopefully we won't have any worms. And if we don't, then our goal was accomplished there. So not the prettiest looking corn plants you've ever seen, but we've got some nice looking ears on there, as you can see right there. Got at least about one ear every plant there, and the silks are starting to turn brown, so I think it's time to take a look. So let's take a gander at this guy right here. This looks like a nice specimen to check out. Feels pretty full there. So our silks are nice and dried and crispy. That's how we know it's time to get it. And pull back here. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Pretty good tip feel there. Not all the way to the top, but pretty good kernel feel. You can see the bicolor kernels there, some white, some yellow. Not the first hint of any worm pressure, which is what I like to see. And pretty dang good looking ear of corn right there. Not the best looking ear I've ever grown, but heck, I'll take that. Now this one here, the silks have dried pretty good, but not kind of all the way to the end. And I would normally leave this one here for another few days, but since we got to get them all today, we got to get them all. So let's kind of see what this one looks like. This ear is a little smaller than that other ear. Looks like we didn't get the best pollination on that one right there, and that's kind of what happens when you only grow 4 rows of corn. So that one don't look near as good as that first one we did, so that's a little bit of a runt there. I'm probably not even gonna save that right there. I'll just chuck it. Let's check this one here. There we go. Now that's a pretty good one right there. Nice big full ear. So you're gonna get a little runt or two here and there, especially with this fall corn, but we can get 75% of them looking like that, it'll be all right. So now for the moment of truth. This corn looks pretty good. Does it taste good? I always like to do a good little raw taste test out here just to make sure this is worth gathering. Man, that's sweet. That's good. I don't believe you'd even have to cook that right there. You can cook it, and we're gonna cook some of it, but man, that's some good sweet corn there. It's pretty too, with those bicolor ears. And I have to say the Primus is a winner for me, considering what it had to deal with this fall, hurricanes and all that, and ended up with some decent ears and good taste to it there. And I'm going to enjoy that, and my neighbors and family will surely enjoy a few ears. Have to go deliver some this afternoon. So let me go grab some buckets and we'll get all this gathered, see what we got. And there's our harvest right there. It's probably close to, if not a little more than 100 or so good ears there, which I can't complain about. Some of these real nice, big, full corn ears. Got some small ones in there, like I showed you earlier. That one there ain't really filled out that well. But for the most part, we got good, solid ears here. Just a few runts, but we can still eat them right there. That's a nice little personal size ear of corn right there. And we got plenty to eat for ourselves, plenty to give away, and it's gonna be a nice treat for supper tonight, I believe. Now, in addition to just the awesome sweet flavor and texture of these triple sweet corn varieties, Well, another reason why I like growing these is because they store so much better than your standard corn variety. So this will keep in the fridge for up to 10 days, whereas some of your standard varieties, you only got a few days before they start getting starchy. So the sweeter the corn, the better the storage is going to be. Now, I don't think this is going to make it 10 days, but it could make it 10 days if we needed it to. If something came up and weren't able to eat it or process it or give it all away right away, then you got really good storage potential here. So you can put this in bags, put it in the fridge, and it will store well that way. As cool as it's going to be for the next few days, I'm probably just going to sit this underneath the barn, and it should be just fine there. You know, it's going to be 40, 50 degrees during the day tomorrow. I think it'll keep just fine in buckets in the barn. So what I don't give away, I'll probably just keep this underneath the barn during these cool days, and we'll eat on it till we get it all taken care of. My little buddy Tata here woke up from his nap while I was shooting this video, so we got a little visitor here. He's a little chilly. We'll get him back inside soon. But I wanted to mention one more thing about growing fall sweet corn. So usually we plant it at the end of August. Sometimes we plant it as soon as middle August around here in South Georgia in Zone 8B. And that's probably a little more ideal. I was late on getting it planted this year, you know, early to mid-September, and that's probably as close as you want to cut it. I couldn't have cut it any more close than I did, and I pushed this corn hard. Water and fertilizer, I pushed it as hard as I could push it, and here we are in our first frost, right before our first frost, picking this stuff. A little closer than I'd like to you know, do it, pull it off, but you know, do what you can do. Just got lucky this year. I'll know in future years to give myself a little more cushion and get this stuff planted at least by the end of August. So if you grew any sweet corn this fall, let me know how it did for you. If you have any other questions about growing sweet corn in the fall, let me know in the comments below, and I'll be glad to try to answer them for you. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give me a big thumbs up. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. If you haven't already, ring that bell so you get notified every time we come out with a new video. And if you did enjoy this one, check out these other two videos right here. One where we planted this corn, and another one where we showed how we fertilize it. We'll see you next time.